It used to be fairly easy to pick a monitor. You choose your refresh rate, choose a resolution, maybe argue about IPS versus VA panels, but it was all quite simple. Nowadays, it's chaos, but in a really fun way. There is some really exciting new tech that opens up loads of new opportunities. Whether we're talking OLED panels that finally work for productivity, incredibly fast refresh rates, or 6K desktop monitors that are aimed at replacing dual monitor setups, there is some awesome stuff there. So if you've been hanging on to an old monitor thinking nothing has really changed, then maybe it's time you sit down for this one, because we've got some great stuff to look at. Here are the most exciting up and coming monitors that show you just how wild this space is getting. So let's kick off with OLED. OLED monitors have always been incredible for gaming. Perfect blacks, fantastic contrast ratio, and instant response times. But there's always been a couple of issues for productivity, particularly around text. A lot of early OLED monitors use unusual sub-pixel layouts that can make text look just a little bit fuzzy. Well, that is where the ASUS ROG Swift PG34 WCDN comes in. This is a 34-inch QD OLED panel that uses an RGB stripe pixel layout. That makes text look absolutely fantastic. For anyone who splits their time between working in the day and gaming at night, this could be that perfect monitor to do it all. ASUS has also tackled another issue that OLEDs often struggle with, which is raised blacks in brightly lit rooms. This screen uses something called black shield and dark armor films, which aim to raise the perceived depth of blacks by 40% in brightly lit rooms. Now that's really important because one of the main reasons you would opt for an OLED in the first place is those incredible blacks. So it's really frustrating when your room lighting takes that away. I love the fact that this finally tackles that problem. But while OLED screens are quietly redefining image quality, another corner of the industry is chasing something wholly different: speed. And the numbers are getting genuinely absurd. Two of the monitors leading this charge are TCL's T7P2A Ultra and the Acer Predator XB273U F6. These are built around TCL's new high shoot panels, aimed specifically at extreme refresh rates. Now, out of the box, these things run at 550Hz 1440p. Now that is already incredible, but they also have a little trick up their sleeve where they can use a dual mode feature. This switches the resolution down to 720p, but pushes the refresh rate up to a ridiculous 1040Hz. Now I'll be honest, I can't think of any situation where I personally wouldn't be blown away by the 550Hz and would be willing to take that cut in resolution. But I know very well there are some esports players that would genuinely disagree. This kind of speed moves latency from milliseconds to microseconds, and when your gaming is all about reaction times, that can make a big difference. There is also some other special tricks with these monitors. They use something called TMOC Super Dynamic Sharpness, which cleverly synchronizes the strobing effect of these panels with the refresh rate of your screen to bring you fantastic motion clarity. And that dovetails nicely into the next advancement I've been looking forward to testing myself, which is NVIDIA G-Sync Pulsar. So NVIDIA developed something called G-Sync Pulsar, which looks across a wide range of monitors to ensure you always get a perfect sync between any strobing and the refresh rate of your screen. That means you get absolutely fantastically clear motion. Traditionally, techniques like black frame insertion would be used, but they would come with downsides. You get flicker and you get ghosting. Now G-Sync Pulsar promises that perfect motion clarity without these problems. Two of the monitors to first utilize this tech are the MSI MPG 262QRF X36 and the ASUS ROG Strix Pulsar XG27 AQ-NGV. Phew, that is a lot of letters. I hope they fix these names soon. Now both of these are 360Hz panels, but with NVIDIA G-Sync Pulsar enabled, they achieve motion clarity that's closer to 1000Hz. That is genuinely astounding. One of the challenges of this technique is that fairly aggressive strobing can cause a bit of eye strain, so these monitors have something called ambient adaptive technology built in. That means that there are some sensors in the panels which actively assess the brightness of your room. The monitors will then automatically adjust brightness and color temperature to ensure there isn't too much eye fatigue. Think of it kind of like the True Tone feature on iPhones. So that's monitors getting really fast, but they are also pushing in the direction of higher resolutions, and I think this is really cool. Now, for a long time, the industry standard for a great monitor has been 4K. Well, we are now starting to see 6K monitors entering the scene. These 6K panels have around 20 million pixels, and that opens up some really interesting new use cases. If you're a content creator, then just think you could be editing a 4K video. Whilst having that on your screen, you could keep it at full resolution. You could also have your timeline and your scopes and your settings. It just makes life so much easier. Now, a great example of this is the Dell UltraSharp 52, which has been nicknamed the Office Wall. This massive display comes in at 6144 by 2560 resolution, and it's aimed at replacing a dual monitor setup. No more bezels, no more mismatched panels, it will look fantastic, and there are some really cool features. These screens use something called IPS black technology, which claims to deliver a 2000:1 contrast ratio, which is roughly double what you get from a traditional LCD panel. This means that despite the fact that these aren't OLED screens, you're getting those deeper blacks and those truer colours. That is really exciting. For productivity setups, this could easily replace multiple screens, and I think it would look fantastic. Dell are not the only company pushing in this direction. Samsung have done something really cool with their new Samsung Odyssey G8 6K. This is a 32-inch IPS panel with a resolution of 6144 by 3456. That is an incredibly high pixel density for a screen of this size, and it is also another screen that is trying to opt for this dual mode switching. So in the first mode, you get that incredibly high refresh rate, but in the second mode, you switch your resolution down to 3K. Now 3K is still a fantastic resolution and will look really clear and really sharp, but you can push the refresh rate right up to 330 Hz. That means it's another one of these monitors trying to tackle both problems in one go and doing it in a really compelling way. You can use it for your precision creative work and then switch it up for a really immersive gaming session. So that is a lot of bleeding edge tech, which can be incredibly exciting. But I realise sometimes it can feel a bit out of reach for most of us. But the good thing is that there really is a trickle-down effect, and we are seeing some fantastic quality monitors coming out for a really good price tag. The thing that really excites me is that budget OLED monitors are finally becoming achievable. A great example of this is the Samsung OLED G5. This is a 1440p screen, 180 Hz. It's got that 0.03 millisecond refresh time that OLED screens are famous for, but it doesn't come in with the high price tag. In fact, we've seen it go as low as $350. That is genuinely incredible. Now, this won't be as bright as some of the tandem OLED screens that we've seen recently, but it will still deliver those deep, rich blacks and those fantastic colors that LCD panels just can't compete with. Another strong budget option we've seen is the AOC Q27 G4ZD. This comes in around $450, and it's really well renowned for its excellent color calibration out of the box. So if you're a content creator, someone that needs that great colors, then this could be a perfect tool for you without breaking the bank. Another screen that could be great for both gaming and creative work. So the monitor space looks like it's getting really exciting. Whether it's OLED maturing, fast refresh rates, or incredibly high resolutions, whatever you are looking for, there's bound to be something for you. Now, the real question is, which direction will the industry push in next? Because if last year is anything to go by, we are only getting started. Well, that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you very much for joining. My name is Sam, and I'll see you next time.